This brief video will discuss how to cite an image from a website. Most of the images used in the visual rhetorical analysis papers are found by students online. One of the things that you're going to use repeatedly planning for the paper drafts stage of this work, one of the things you're going to keep doing is using the web address many times. The link is asked for in quite a lot of the journals leading up to when the paper drafting happens. So, when you are pulling an image from online, you're just Googling something and you find your image, you'll have the link to it and then need to figure out where it originally came from. Sometimes it's easier than other times to find that information. One of the things that some students need a little help with is what I call backtracking using the web address. And I need to say all this before I even get into how to cite an image from a website because you need to be able to read the image address. So let's say I was looking up, I'm going to use the Montana meth images because they're really terrific. And I can see, I know what I'm looking for. So my search terms are actually going to take me to places that aren't from the Montana Meth Project. That could actually happen to a lot of you in the class. You find your image and it's not from the original source. The best thing is to try to track down the original source. And when you click on image searches, let me just go ahead and do it now in the video. You'll see the same images over and over. The one I'm actually looking for is this one right here. But when you look at the various options on my screen right now showing up in my search, I can look. I can also get it in this view. But I can look through and see that image a lot of places. So one of the things I do is I look at the actual web address and read it. This is trendhunter.com. I definitely don't want that because that sounds like a bad website. Helena. I think this is Helena. Helena is a city in Montana. That's probably what that is. This is an Australian site because it's .au at the end. This is from Facebook. Am I ever going to find it from the Montana meth site? I don't know. That might take a lot of digging because I'm just scrolling here and not seeing that web address very much. So, one thing that a student would do at this point that would be beneficial is go to the Montana meth site and actually see if it could be found there. And if not, then you pick one of the other options. I'm going to pick one that doesn't sound sketchy for the web address just to demonstrate what I'm doing here. So I'm going to click on this one because I know it comes from a newspaper in Helena, Montana. And to actually go grab that web address, I'm going to take the extra step and just, instead of just grabbing it from this image, I'm going to go visit the site because I'm going to now it's going to want me to subscribe. I'm going to ignore this right now, but I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to show you when I'm looking at this web address, I've got it highlighted up here at the top of my screen, that there's a huge amount of information, a very long web address, but I can read part of it. helenaair.com/news/state and regional/meth project removing billboards, da 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 da. Okay, so some of this is readable before all the numbers gibberish comes up that's used to identify the image. So one thing you can do is actually backtrack in a web address and delete a lot of it, depending on what's still on a website. Depending on what's there, you're going to be able to see different parts of the website if you delete part of this address. I'm going to get rid of all the numbers. And now when I enter that Let's see what I get. I have no idea. I haven't done it. I'm doing the demo live here and da 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 da. It worked. I'm in the newspaper now and I'm nowhere near that image. But I wanted to show you that because you can actually sometimes figure out where an image is from by deleting part of the web address up until the slashes is what I recommend. So I'm going to just demo it again with what I have at the top of my screen now. And I'm going to go to news. Now I should be in the larger category of news, not state and regional like I had in the first cut, but the one that's just news. Yes, this is what I wanted. Now I'm on the Helena news page, and now I'm going to go. I want just Helena IR. Let's see. So to get that, I now have to back up. IR, I can now see looking at it. It's because it's the Independent Record is the name of the newspaper. So again, I'm going to take it back in front of the last slash. This should get me to the main page for the newspaper, and there it is. It worked. I think that's an important part of this citing an image from a website, even though I don't have that in this document. It's a demo that I think is very useful to begin doing the work. What I have here at the top of this page is the basic pattern. One of the ways that I prefer to do it when I'm writing up reference lists is I will grab a reference example, and I usually use an example like right here that has actual names and things in it and not the pattern. So I would grab something like this, copy and paste it into my own document. And then after I copy and paste it into my own document, then at that moment, I type my information underneath it. You can certainly try citation machines if you're familiar with those. I'll just say that sometimes they have missing information. Do the best you can, because if you read the basic pattern I have here, you're going to see that sometimes you will have missing information. And a lot of the time there's not much you can do about that. The goal then is to include as much as you can, as much information as you have. So, for example, let's say you don't have the name of your image creator. You may or may not have an actual artist or photographer or person's name who took your picture or created it if it's like a poster. If it's not an actual person, here you could put the name of the organization. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add that. So the example I was using at the beginning of this video was Montana Meth. That's the Montana Meth people. So now I got to go back and look. What the heck is their name for Montana Meth? It's the Montana Meth Project. Okay, so now that I've gone and looked that up, name of organization could go here, Montana Meth Project, since there isn't a specific artist mentioned right here. Then the title of the image. So again, if I go back, the image I was using was the one with 15 bucks. Basically, the way you're watching me backtrack here is the same way you would have to. Now, ideally, you've got the link from whatever you've been putting in the journals up till now, and you'll just go grab that link from your journals. That's really the easiest way. But let's say I went back to I found it on the Montana Meth website. Then I'd put the rest of the information there in my web address. So it would be Montana Meth Project. And then the title of it would be 15 bucks for sex isn't normal, but on meth it is. And I would type it just like it is here, not meaning in all capital letters, but meaning that it would have a period after each of these. And it would go in quotation marks, like what you see here. The website name in italics would be next here. And then You may or may not have all the information of when it exactly came out, whatever your image is. That's just going to depend. So there's a lot of variety here in what's going to end up. Let me talk for a second about why you cite to end this video. I think, unfortunately, in most writing classes, students are taught that you cite so that you aren't caught plagiarizing. Really, at higher levels of writing, nobody ever thinks about citation that way. That's just in school lessons. Citations are so that somebody else who wants to use what you're looking at can go find it. Most of the time, that's for their own research. But even if it's me and I wanted to go look at an image that you had, my goal wouldn't be to check your citation to see whether you're plagiarizing. My goal would be to check your citation so that if I want to go look at the image in order to help you write your paper, I could do that. So for me in my classes, that's how I think of citations, not as a plagiarism thing. It's really about research. And when you get to higher levels of research, citation lists get really long. Okay, that was a longish video, but a very important one for this visual rhetorical analysis paper. Thanks for watching.